Hello, unicorns. So today our handstands and happiness practice is focused on alignment and integrity. So handstands are one of the best teachers of alignment. They teach us that when we align our body that we can find both strength and balance. But also, since it's such a long journey, it takes a lot of perseverance and commitment. Handstand teaches a lot about our attitudes. And the psychologists have been studying a lot about integrity and alignment with our values. And the research shows that moving and taking action that's in line with our value system creates more fulfillment and happiness in our lives. So today we're going to practice not only aligning our physical body, but also aligning our mental body, our spiritual body, aligning ourselves with our values. Brene Brown has a really beautiful quote on integrity. She says, "Integrity is choosing courage over comfort, choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy, and choosing to practice our values rather than professing them." So today, as we move through our practice, we're going to keep coming back to that value, keep staying in our integrity, whether your value today is to find your physical alignment. Maybe you really want to work on your external rotation of your shoulders. You really want to make sure that you have like solid, strong hands, or you want to move slow, or something more like you want to love your body the entire time and you want to just stay with your breath. So taking a minute to just choose your value for your practice today and turn it into a mudra. So a mudra is a physical representation of an intention. So in yoga, like all of our postures are mudras. Warrior pose is about feeling like a warrior, for example. But so just like with your hands, you can create your mudra, like maybe this is for serenity, or this is for connecting with my breath. So you can take a minute to just turn it into any type of hand mudra. You can kind of create your own. And we'll use this during our practice to kind of create a little bit of creative exploration. So take a minute to just figure out your value that you want to focus on, turn it into a mudra, and we'll make our way over to our mats. Find like a comfortable standing position and give yourself a little shake. Just like shake it out. Start to just wake up your body. A little age wisdom. Age is here. She does these little beautiful rain taps to just wake up the skin. Wake up all of our little nerve endings. La, 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 la. So like give yourself a little tap. Let any wiggles out. And then find some stillness. And just starting to allow yourself to come into alignment. Right away, just dropping into your feet. And starting to feel the midline of your body. Imagine that you were cut in half and you had two sides, and right in the center was a central channel of the body. And as you breathe, see if you can breathe your breath all the way from the crown of your head, all the way down through the spine, all the way into the very base of your spine. And exhale, letting that air run back up along that midline of the body to release. Bringing your weight right into the center of your feet and just seeing if you can find your alignment here. Your physical alignment of your body. The place where you feel weightless. And then we'll start to bring our hands out and around as we inhale, reaching up. Bringing the hands into a prayer, and then exhale, bringing them all the way down through that central channel. turning them down at the heart, and then shooting that energy down into the earth. Inhale, reaching the hands back up. Exhale, aligning ourselves through that central channel. Flipping the hands at the heart and drawing this line of energy through our body, our central channel, feeling that alignment. Last one. And then letting the hands pause at the heart, opening into a little blossom. So this is our little intention flower. This is where we get to put our value, that value that you set in the beginning of your practice, that mental alignment that we're going to have. So here, just let that intention blossom. And then using that intention, you can start to turn it into a mudra with the hands, whatever that might look like for you. Take a minute to just create your own mudra, this intentional body shape, to remind us of that intention. And we'll come back to this throughout our practice. And it can change just as you change, but just allowing it to be there to remind you of that value, of that integrity as you practice. Slowly opening the hands out to the sides, and we'll start to align our shoulders here because we're doing handstands. We'll start to align the shoulders by working external rotation. So we're going to imagine that we're grabbing a door handle and twisting open, finding some external rotation of the shoulders. See if you can keep your front ribs down, and then grab and twist. And grab and twist. Maybe you can close your eyes and see if you can feel your scapula wrapping around your back ribs. Finding this external rotation of the shoulders. This is our optimal alignment to protect our rotator cuff. So here we are aligning our body. And so this is the shape of the arms that we want to try to find every time our arms are overhead, is this external rotation. So just going through it at your own pace, up and down, noticing where there's any like sticky points and just seeing if you can breathe into them. And then holding the hands up at the top with the thumbs facing back, we'll just do little tiny pulses backwards for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then out to the sides, all the way down. This external rotation, see if you can hug the arm bones into their pockets. And just really start to stabilize through the shoulders. See if you can keep the front ribs knit together. That's my biggest challenge. The rib flare. And then little circles. So we push back, now we're going to circle back. And bring them low, and bring them high, and then make them big. And then maybe you let your back start to warm up. And then interlacing the hands behind the sacrum. Taking a big in-breath as you expand through the chest. Exhale and fold forward, bend your knees. Shake out your head, your neck, your jaw. Release any tension there. And on your exhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Really nice and slow. Inhaling, reaching the hands up. Exhale, stretching through the right shoulder, so bending the right elbow and taking it to touch onto your upper back. And we'll come here and we'll just stretch over to the left. Breathing here. Coming into a little what we call an eagle dance. So you can stretch through the right arm underneath the left elbow so that you're in a little bit more of a side bend. And then side bend over to the right. Peek the head through, bring the hands forward, and then sneak the arm through the hole again. Beautiful. And then you can slide the left arm around and find your eagle arms. Inhaling to reach up and exhaling to fold forward. Just a little upper back opening, inhaling up and exhaling down. And then opening the hands up, keeping the right arm up as if you had like a teacup in your hand. We'll take our legs nice and wide. My left hand is going to come onto my right hip. And then I'm going to keep that teacup as I reach my left hand down the outside of my right leg. And I go into internal shoulder rotation. On your inhale, slowly coming back up. You're still balancing that teacup, twisting all the way into the external rotation. Turn your pinky out as much as you can. And then exhale down. Starting to warm into those hamstrings. Inhale, reaching up, finding that optimal shoulder alignment. Exhale. Seeing if you can embody that value even here, even as you're going through this movement. Can you find that integrity of this movement? And last one. And inhaling all the way up, reaching both hands up. This time the left elbow is going to bend, and we're going to stretch over to the right side. Breathing here, I want to make sure you can see me. And then scooting the left hand through the right elbow, side bending over to the right. And then the head's going to go through the hole, dip back through the elbow as we come into this nice shoulder stretch, the deltoid. And then the right arm is going to slide under the left arm, finding our eagle arms, feeling that alignment, that central channel once again. Exhale, round. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and round. Inhale and reach. Exhale and round. Inhale and reach. Exhale and round. Inhale and release. This time the left arm is going to hold that teacup in your hand. Is everyone good? Right hand's going to come onto the left hip. And we'll start to slide down, keeping the teacup in our hand as we come down, and then all the way back up again. Exhale, sliding it down into the internal rotation. Inhale, back up again. And exhale down. See if you can find that whole range. And when you go up, how externally rotated can you make your arm bone? And last one. All the way up, reaching both hands up. And then exhale, bringing the hands into the heart. Slowly heel toe your feet all the way together, starting to find the midline. So we're going to start to find our handstand alignment even here. So bring the big toes together, heels a sliver apart, take your hands onto your hips. So here's our anterior pelvic tilt, here's our posterior pelvic tilt. We're going to find the posterior. So find this posterior pelvic tilt, pubic bone is reaching forward, then the legs are going to squeeze together as if you had a mermaid tail. You're squeezing them in towards the midline, belly button's pulling in towards the spine. This is our handstand legs. Handstand activated legs. Front ribs drop down towards the hip points. And then we can take our arms up above our head. Imagine that you're making a handstand on the ceiling. Find that external rotation in the shoulders. And then exhale and lift up onto your tippy toes. Breathing here, squeeze in towards the midline. And then drop the heels down. Take your right hand to your right hip, side bend over to the right. Opening up into that side body, into that outer hip. Inhale right back up into your upside down handstand. So find that alignment, that pelvic tilt, that belly's nice and engaged. Inhale and lift up. And then exhale down, side bending over to the left. Opening into that right side body, that right outer hip. Inhale, squeeze the midline, lift all the way back up. Reach, 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 reach. And then dropping the heels down, making a prayer with your hands, and opening the heart. Taking the hands behind the head, expanding through the chest, opening through the shoulders. On our exhale, we'll sink down into a chair. So really just get into these feet here, root into the earth, getting into that root chakra, that right to be here. So just really showing up here for this, finding that integrity. Sinking the hips down, pulling the belly in. Seeing if you can lift your inner and outer arches equally. Feel the fire in your body. And then exhale, bringing the hands into the heart and lift up onto the tippy toes, upside down handstand. Exhale, sinking down, chair pose. Inhale, coming up, lifting up onto the tippy toes, upside down handstand. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, all the way up, upside down handstand. This time, exhale, sinking down into your chair. Inhale, lifting up the right leg as you come up to stand. Starting to find that alignment. So today we're going to focus on our straddle handstand. So there's like different ways to align ourselves in our handstand. There is the abduction, meaning moving towards the midline, and the internal rotation of the thigh. And then there's also the external rotation of the thigh and the abduction, moving away from the midline. So I just wanted to clarify that. So from here, we're aligned in the midline. So we can take our leg and we can circle around, coming into the external rotation, abduction, away from the midline. This is what we're going to work a lot today. So just starting to warm into that external rotation, away from the midline. And then bringing the right foot in front of the left, side bending, so you bend into this right leg, side bend over to the right. Feel this full half moon shape in the body. Getting into that QL, see if you can pull your belly button in towards your spine. And then we're gonna add a little twirl. So the feet are gonna stay where they are. We're gonna practice pivoting on our feet. So you can bring your hands into your heart and we'll just pivot so that we look over our left shoulder. We'll turn backwards, keep your feet where they are, pivot on the feet so that you're turning forwards. The left leg is now in front of the right and we can side bend over to the left. Nice, so the feet never move, we just pivot on our toes. Inhale, this right leg comes back up into this externally rotated, abducted position. Grab underneath your right thigh, and then we'll start to work this compression strength. So lifting that leg up, finding the active flexibility, see how much you can straighten your knee and turn on your quad, and then bend again. And now straighten, and now bend, and now straighten, and now bend. Two more, straighten, bend, straighten, and then going all the way back through your warrior three, bend into the left leg as you slowly balance. See if you can come into that value, align yourself with that value, find that integrity in this movement. Now our hips are internally rotated, pinky toes facing directly down towards the ground, and then slowly we're gonna land, coming into a runner's lunge. So my left leg is forward, my right leg is back. Warming up into the wrists now. So I want to make sure that my fingers are spread wide like sunshine. Set down onto my mat and I'll lift up the palms on my inhale. Exhale, set them down. Inhale, lift up onto the fingertips. Exhale and set them down. Inhale, lift the palms. Exhale, set them down. Inhale, lift the fingers. Exhale, set them down. Let's do 3 more just like that. See if you can move with your breath. Keeping the right hand down, we'll twist open with the left arm, opening up through the thoracic spine, twisting back, and seeing if you can reach back towards your left leg, dropping the hips down, starting to open into the hips. And then on our exhale, we'll start to use the strength in our hamstring to find some agility. We'll lean forward. We're not going to actually jump, but we're just going to reach up with that hamstring. And then we're going to come back. Inhale, open. Exhale, come forward, lift with the hamstring. Exhale, come back. Inhale, twist open. Exhale, bounce forward, lift with the hamstring as much as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Big inhale to twist open. Exhale, coming into this modified warrior 3, where I have like an L shape with my legs. You can bend this knee as much as you need to. You can also use blocks here to bring the ground closer to you if you need that. From here, we'll take some big hip circles. So you can bend the knee first, circling the hip into that external rotation and that abduction, and come around. Reaching it, you can either keep the knee bent, or if you really want to work on your active flexibility, you can kick it straight, and then try to externally rotate and bring it all the way around here. Woo! It's a lot. Bringing the feet together, and then sinking all the way down, sitting all the way down onto your booty. Really nice and slowly. Taking the hands by the sides, we'll do some reverse presses. So we'll lean back, slowly roll back, tuck the knees up into the chest. You can push through your hands to lift your butt, and then straighten the legs. And then take them out, opening, see how much you can stretch through the legs as they come around, and then forward. Now tuck through. So here, the most important part is that your lower back is not arching. You want to have this hollow belly position the whole time. So we're tucking. You can keep the knees straight if it's too much to straight, or the knees bent if it's too much to straighten the legs. And then we'll go into our hollow body. Here, open, and there. See how much you can fire up your quads, these muscles on top of your legs. See how much you can turn them on. As if you had rainbow beams shooting out your toes. And one more. All the way into your hollow position. And then we'll rock ourselves all the way up forward. Taking our legs wide open into a straddle. Yes. And then we'll start to warm into our straddle. So inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, bring the hands into interlace behind your back. Take a big breath in. Most important thing here is that we keep our back flat. If you need to sit your butt up on a block because you're rounding like this, go ahead and find your block. Oh God, just so that I can show things.
Amazon.
Thank you. Amazon. Okay. So yeah, you can sit your butt onto a block here if you need to, so that you can have a flat back. And then you can lean forward. So keeping the back flat and coming up. We'll do it with flexed feet first, just really working on this pancake position. So fire up the knees, fire up the quads, and just lean forward, working on this a really active pancake. So you're shooting laser beams, rainbow laser beams at your heels. Toes are pulling back. And see if you can find that integrity in this movement. And then finding a place to just fold forward and breathe for 5 breaths. Seeing how much you can engage your legs, engage your quads, and then just relax into it. See if you can just relax into your strength. On the inhale, slowly coming all the way back up, walking the hands back, bringing the feet together. If you were on your block, you can come off your block. And then we're going to rock our way back up to standing. So we can use some momentum here, or you can make it really strengthy. So you can just really try to use those lower belly muscles if you want, or you can add some momentum by curling back and then shooting forward. So those are the options. Try for 3, whatever option you're taking. And then folding forward when you make it onto your feet, dropping the head, releasing the neck and the jaw, giving yourself a little neck massage, letting something go. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhaling, rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time. So here we're finding our handstand alignment. So we're already tucking the pelvis into that posterior pelvic tilt, belly's pulling in, and then the ribs are pulling in, and then the chest is pulling in, and then everything is hollow in the front of the body as we come all the way up to standing, rolling the shoulders up into the ears, and then dropping them down to the back pockets as you shoot rainbows at your fingertips. Lengthen the crown up towards the ceiling and find that midline of your body. See if you can energetically hug the midline and just see that value or intention that you have right there, like a little glowing orb shooting right down your center. Our exhale will take us into our chair. Inhale, coming up onto our tippy toes, finding that upside down handstand. So the belly engages, the pelvis tilts, we hover onto our tippy toes, and then drop back down into our chair. Ooh, I'm sweating. Are you guys sweating? Inhale, coming back up. And then exhale. Inhale, back up. Exhale. And then this time, as we inhale, the left leg's going to lift. Finding that integrity of our movement. Really slowly and controlled, mindfully moving. And then just playing with that external rotation. So we're going to take the leg out and around into external rotation. Out and around into external rotation. Out and around into external rotation. Out and around. And then we're going to step the left foot in front of the right foot, coming into this half moon position, side bending the body. So we're reaching to the left. I push my left elbow into my left hip because it really helps open up my QL, and I just love the feeling of it. On our inhale, you can do whatever you want with your hands. We're keeping the feet where they are. We're looking over our right shoulder, pivoting on the feet so both feet face backwards towards the back of the room. Then keep pivoting on your feet. They never move, they just pivot so that the right leg is in front of the left. Side bending to the other side. Yes. Beautiful. Inhaling, coming all the way back up. Working on that internal rotation, so rotating inwards and inwards and inwards into your warrior three. So we're balancing on this right leg. You can have the hands at your heart to help you balance. See if you can kick that leg back, pointing the left pinky toes directly down towards the ground. See if you can find your breath. And then slowly lower yourself down all the way into your runner's lunge. Yeah. Breathing here in your runner's lunge. A few more wrist push-ups to just really get this strength and mobility in the wrists, lifting up the palms, and then lifting up onto the fingers. Exhale, lift up the palms. Inhale, lifting up the fingers. And now keeping the left hand down, inhaling to twist open, taking a big breath in, and then exhale, bring the left hand or the right hand forward as you lift up into this little kick with the hamstring. So I'm not externally rotating here, I'm really mindfully internally rotating my leg and using that inner hamstring to kick up. And then coming back, inhale. And exhale, coming back, inhale, big opening, and exhale, inhale, and exhale, last one, and lifting here, holding, and then making those big circles so you can either bend the knee, take the knee out to the side as if you were a dog peeing on a fire hydrant and circling it around. Getting into that externally rotated, abducted position of the hip. You can also keep it straight if you did on the other side. Whatever is working for you and aligning with whatever value you're embodying here today. Bringing both feet down, bending into the knees, dropping the head, relaxing the neck and the jaw, and then slowly sitting all the way down. Really nice and slowly, and we'll go straight back into those reverse press handstands. So hands by the sides, knees tuck up, and then they open, and they come down. So that's the bent knee version into our hollow body. Or if you want to do it with straight knees, you can go. I love the sounds. And let's do two more. So 1 and 2. Allowing your legs to rock you all the way forward, so you come up to sit on your butt. Again, inhaling the hands all the way up. Exhaling to interlace them at the back, opening through the chest, finding this long spine so that we can hinge at our hips. This time we'll keep our toes pointed. Engage through the knees, so you should have really firm quads. Your quads are as firm as they get. And then we're gonna hinge forward just as much as we can. For 5, breathing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can fold forward. You can either let go of your hands or you can stretch them over. You want a little bit more. See if you can roll the thighs back into external rotation even here. And then slowly coming all the way up. A little bit more compression strength, because we just can't get enough of it. Taking both hands around your right leg, so your fingertips are on the ground, and then it might not get off the ground, but basically the moral of the story is that you're flexing your quad. So you're just flexing as much as you can. This is what it might look like. If you can, and if it wants to, it will eventually, you can lift the leg up as much as you can. So activating those deep core muscles, using our psoas, really getting into this compression strength here. So, nice. I can feel it all the way in my foot. And last one. And then folding forward over that leg. So just walking the hand and just really getting into that hamstring. Maybe you massage your foot. Say something really sweet to your foot about how grateful you are to have it. Something of that nature. And then slowly coming all the way back. Turning to the other leg. Finding our fingertips on the ground. And then doing these little lifts. So maybe it's just turning on the quad, and that's how it starts. It starts with just the quad activating, and then eventually you start to levitate, using our powers of levitation. Last one. And then just walk yourself forward over that leg. Maybe finding your foot and just giving your foot a really nice massage. And then slowly coming all the way up. Bringing your legs together. And we'll practice those 3 rolls to make it back onto our feet. So you can roll. See if you can launch yourself. And launching all the way into a forward fold. Shaking out the head, relaxing the neck, relaxing the jaw. Taking a big inhale to flatten out the spine as you reach your crown away from your tail. Turn on the knees as much as you can, really opening through those hamstrings. And then exhale and folding forward. And then rolling up one vertebrae at a time. So really slow. You can start it at your knees, a slight bend in the knees, so that you can tuck your pelvis. The tailbone reaches down. The glutes activate. The lower glutes first. Then the belly pulls in, and you're like a little snake, really slowly rolling through each vertebra as slowly as you possibly can. Nice. Stacking the spine, rolling the shoulders up into the ears, and then down into the back pocket so that the hands come out, spreading those little rainbow beams out all over the world, all over your room. Inhale, lifting up onto the tippy toes, coming up into our upside down handstand here. And then exhale, sinking down into our chair pose. Inhale, reaching that right leg up once again. Exhale, stepping the right leg over to the left, side bending to the right. Taking whatever arm variation you want as you twirl yourself around, feet face backwards, we're pivoting on the feet, turning back, side bending to the left. And then the right knee is going to lift out to the side, inhaling. Exhale, thread it through, so we go into that internal rotation through our warrior 3. You can either have your hands in your heart, or if you want an extra challenge, you can reach them away from your heel and can find this opposition. You're shooting rainbows at your toes and your fingers simultaneously. And then slowly lowering down. Inhale, high lunge. Reaching the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, we'll go into a twisted lunge. So my right arm's gonna go forward, my left arm's gonna go back, opening through the chest. Breathing here. And then inhaling both hands up. And exhaling into our warrior two position. So taking a minute to just find your alignment here. The front ankle and the knee are in a line. The front knee is a square. The tailbone is reaching down, the belly is reaching in. The back inner arch of the foot is lifting. You're really strong here in your integrity. Opening the hands up, spreading them out. And then grab onto those door handles and twist the shoulders into external rotation. Yes. So we're really active in the shoulders. And then just float the hands, gaze over the front middle finger. And just feel what it feels like to be a warrior. What does it feel like for you? And now we'll start to side bend, so we'll do like a little warrior dance. So you can make it as juicy as you want. We've got this really nice alignment in our legs. So you can reach forward, right arm can reach into this side angle position, and then you can float yourself back into your exalted warrior. Getting into the side body, and just see if you can feel the air in your fingertips, like you're swimming through the air. Maybe find like a different corner of your body that you don't normally tap into and see if you can tap into it. And then allowing yourself to flow into that little mudra that you set in the beginning of class, that mudra that represents your value. So allowing this arm position to start to take you into that expression. And then just breathe into your integrity. Inhaling, reaching the hands up. Exhaling, spiraling the hands down to frame into the front foot. Lifting up the back heel, and then pulling back into this pyramid position. So the front heel lifts off, or the front heel stays down, the front toes lift off. And we're breathing here. If you need blocks or if you need to come up onto your fingertips, just really working into that hamstring. You can swivel into the hips. And then planting the hands down, using that compression strength. So seeing if you can just turn on the quad and slide the heel back, or if it's available to you, you can see if you can levitate the leg and slowly bring it back into your downward facing dog. Breathing here, finding your downward dog, bend the elbows in your downward dog, and then roll the elbows down towards the mat so that we're almost in this dolphin position, and then straighten them so you have that external rotation in your shoulders, and then drop the head down, look at your knees, breathe here. How can you find integrity in this pose? How can you find your alignment here in this pose we've been in a million times? How can you check back in with it and make it new? On the inhale, we're going to slowly roll ourselves forward one vertebrae at a time, rounding from the lower back to the middle back to the upper back as we round forward into this really high plank. Here, see if you can rotate the eyes of your elbows forward, and then we'll do a few shoulder shrugs. So push the ground away from you on your exhale, and then inhale, just let the heart drop slightly. Exhale, push up through the upper back as if the back of your heart was inflating. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale, push the back of your heart up towards the sky. Inhale, drop it down. 5 more. It's a small movement, but it's powerful. and holding at the top. And then options here, you can always bring your knees down to protect your shoulders, or you can stay high. Those are the two options. We'll lower all the way onto our belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Coming onto the belly, taking the hands by the sides the same way we did before. We're gonna open those doors up. So we'll go from internal rotation to external rotation into our bird position. Hug the inner thighs together as if you had a mermaid tail. And then exhale, dropping the hands back down. We'll open the doors all the way up so that the hands come above our head. So opening and opening. Just opening doors. Always opening doors. And then when you get your arms up over your head, thumbs are gonna face up towards the sky. Forehead can come down, and we're just gonna lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then keeping the hands there. Imagine you were making, can you guys see me? A handstand on the front of the wall in front of you. Then see if you can find your handstand alignment here. So pull the belly button up, push the pubic bone down, squeeze the thighs together. See if you can lift the front ribs down towards the hip points. And this is your belly handstand. Breathe here for 5 breaths. It should be like I could drive a little toy car underneath your belly because it's so lifted, but then your butt is super squeezed and your legs are super squeezed. You're in a handstand position even here. And then taking the hands underneath the shoulders, pushing all the way up from this really hollow body position up into your plank. Bring the knees down, and then stretch the arms overhead. We'll take a nice shoulder stretch here, so walk the hands forward, and then just drop the chest down. See if you can keep that external rotation. If you want to take the palms facing up, because that might help you, you can do that. And just see how deeply you can go from this externally rotated position. See if you can find your breath. And then keeping the forearms on the ground, just flip the palms so that they're planted. And then lift the hips up into this dolphin position. So drop the head down, shake out the neck, relax the jaw. And then just opening up into our lats. I call this a lat and cow. So it's like a cat and cow, but it stretches your lats a lot. So you round like a cat to stretch your lats. And then you inhale and you look forward like a cow. Exhale, round. Inhale, look forward. Exhale. Woo! Bring the knees down. And then walk the hands all the way back so that you can push yourself back up onto your feet. From here, we're gonna practice some baby cartwheels. So we're here in this little like tuck ball position. I don't know if these work, so you guys will have to tell me after class if this is like something that you liked or not. My right hand is gonna come out about a foot away from my right foot and in front. And then my left hand is gonna come right in front of it. So it's like this nice side bend. Then I'm going to lift up with my left knee, pivot on my right foot, and start to open up into a little baby cartwheel. Then my right knee is gonna lift, and I'm gonna come back around. And then I'm gonna go back. Then I'm gonna take my left hand, and my left knee is gonna stay bent, and I'm gonna lift and pivot and pivot and pivot. And then, same thing, make my way back. So going through about 3 of those on your own. And then we'll make our way to the back. And then this time, we will stand all the way up, rolling up through the spine. Inhale, reaching the hands up towards the sky. Then exhale, my left leg's gonna come back as I balance into this warrior three position. My right hand plants, my left hand plants, and then my left leg is going to spiral around. Maybe I push so much into my arms that I can lift off and then slowly land on the other side. Really push through those shoulders, and even if you don't get up, yeah, you can use your hamstring a little bit to add a little lift. Yeah. Okay, and then a little play. So you guys have got your expression, so now we're gonna like spice it up. So we're gonna have a landing pose. So that landing pose, remember that mudra that you guys made in the beginning? Like mine was like this. So I'm gonna this is gonna be my starting point and my ending point. So I'm gonna be here, and then I'm going to allow that integrity to guide me through this movement as I bring myself into my thing and then landing in that same pose. If you guys have the space and you want to land in a warrior, you can also land in like this like cool half moon position, but just allow yourself to kind of play with like making it a little movement expression. One more play with that. And then slowly bringing your feet back together at the back of your mat. Taking a big inhale, reaching your hands up towards the sky. Finding that upside down handstand once again. And then exhaling, dropping the heels and flying all the way down. Taking a forward fold, opening up into those hamstrings a little bit more. Lots of hamstring opening today. And then walking the hands. We'll take little bunny hops forward. So it's the opposite. Now we're hugging the inner thighs together. Imagine you had like a block in between your thighs. And then we'll take little hops, just hopping. Seeing if you can find a moment of float. And go as slow as you want. See how much you can breathe. How much you can stay in your integrity. Incredible. Making your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly lower, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Stack, 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 stack. Stack. Finding that midline. You're completely aligned. Roll the shoulders up into the ears and then down to the back pockets. Shooting those rainbows at your fingertips. Inhaling up into your upside down handstand once again. So levitating here. And then exhaling, sinking down into your chair. Inhale, this time the left leg is going to come up. Exhale, the left leg steps in front of the right leg. Side bend over to the left. Getting into that QL, maybe making your mudra. And then twirling around with your own little flair, however you like. Finding your side bend on the other side. And then taking this left knee out to the side. And then curling it through, finding your warrior three. So really finding that internal rotation. Both hip points are facing down towards the ground. The heel stretches back. Finding these really straight lines. If you want to challenge yourself more, you can reach your fingers away from your toes. Find a full warrior 3. And then slowly stepping down into Anjaneyasana. Inhaling the hands all the way up, high lunge. Exhale, twist. The right arm's going to go back, left arm forward. Breathing here. Inhale, both hands reach up. Exhale, warrior 2. Finding your alignment of your warrior 2. Pushing down through the big toe mound and the heel. Lifting the inner and outer arches equally. Front knee is aligned over the ankle. Belly is pulled in. Tailbone reaching down. Spread the hands away from one another. Grab onto those doors and open them. Finding that really nice shoulder position, and then just floating the hands over softly. Finding your warrior. Really checking in with your inner warrior. And then allowing your warrior to have a little dance, a little play, swimming through the air, from side to side. Where does it feel good? There's no rules here. This is just all whatever your body's asking you for. Just do that. And then allowing your dancing warrior to guide you into that expression of your mudra. Aligning yourself with that value, finding that integrity. And then inhaling to reach up and back. And exhale, windmill yourself all the way down, framing into that front foot, lifting the left heel up off the mat, and then pulling yourself back into this pyramid position. If you can, flex the right foot, see if you can. If not, staying here and just finding that intention to flex the foot, firing up the quad. Then you can swivel the hips from side to side, just getting into all the hamstrings fibers. And then slowly lifting or imagining that you're lifting by pushing so much through your shoulders. The back of your heart rounds like a cat. Your eyes of your elbows are still rotating forward. Your pinky fingers or your first finger and your thumb are pushing into the ground. And then see if you can hover this leg all the way back into your downward facing dog. Finding this integrity here. So how can you find your alignment? Bending the elbows, rolling them forward into that external rotation, pulling the front ribs into the back ribs, lengthening through the neck. Really see if you can show up for this downward dog. On your inhale, rolling through the spine, one vertebrae, all the way like a snake, rolling forward into your plank. Finding plank here, inhaling really long into your plank, and we'll go for 10 more shrugs. So pushing the ground away from you as if there was a string pulling the back of your heart towards the ceiling, and then dropping it down. Pushing the ground away from you, feeling the scapula wrap around your rib cage, and moving with your breath. How in touch with your breath can you be here? And then your choice, whether you want to come down onto your knees or stay lifted, lowering down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, rolling the shoulders open into this bird position, expanding through the heart, shining your heart forward. And then exhale, bringing the arms overhead, coming into that belly handstand, that complete opposite. So the front body now hollows, the belly then pulls in towards the spine, the legs squeeze together, belly handstand. And inhaling, taking the hands under the shoulders, tucking the toes, and then pressing your way all the way up into your plank, and then all the way back into your downward facing dog. Dropping the forearms right away and coming into this really nice dolphin stretch. Either staying in your dolphin, or if you want to play with forearm balance, if it's in your practice, if you're not afraid of falling, you can go ahead and play with your forearm stand, or you can just stretch here, working this mobility, lifting one leg and lifting the other leg. And then sinking in and walking the hands all the way back. Coming into this little baby squat position. Baby squat, little cuddle, little knee cuddle position. And then we'll play with our baby cartwheels. So taking the left hand about a foot away from the left foot, then the right hand, and pivoting on this left foot, keeping the knees bent, rolling over, and then coming here. Going through a few of those with your own breath. Yeah, see how slow you can go. See how much strength you can build by going slow, like you're moving through honey. And when you make your way to the back of your mat, we'll come into a forward fold and roll ourselves all the way back up. Coming straight up into that upside down handstand, so fighting our pelvic tilt, reaching our hands up above our head, balancing here, and then slowly dropping the heels down, bringing the hands into the heart. Finding our mudra, our starting position, and then taking that left leg back, or sorry, the right leg back. The left hand comes down. The right hand comes down. We pivot on our left leg, and we pull ourselves over, making our way all the way around and up. Play with that 3 times forward and backwards. Add your creative flair. Add your little mudra. Make it a little dance of integrity. Making your way back to the back of your mat. And then finding your upside down handstand once again. Really finding that alignment, so checking in with that pelvic tilt, hugging the legs together, belly button in towards the spine, lifting all the way straight back up into that upside down handstand. And then dropping the heels down, flying ourselves all the way down. Bringing the hands in front of us and then doing those bunny hops all the way forward. So squeezing the legs together. You have a tail, the legs can't spread apart. Hopping forward. Finding your way at the top of your mat. Taking an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Give yourself a hug. Say thank you to your body. And then rolling yourself all the way back up. Reaching the hands all the way up. Finding that midline, aligning yourself with your center, and then coming all the way back. So I think we're warm enough to go onto the wall now. I'm going to show 2 different press handstand drills that I like. And so you can choose which one, or you can do both, depending on your level of comfort with the wall. So the first one is an eccentric lowering, so it's just about how slowly you can lower down. Start about like maybe 1 handprint, not even a full handprint, like a half a handprint away from the wall. And then you can do a little froggy hop up, so taking your knees out like a frog and then just jumping so that your butt comes to the wall. Then from here, you'll take your legs out and lower all the way down. So bringing your back into the wall, bringing your head into the wall, and see how slowly you can lower your feet down. And then you can jump back up. So option is to just jump, find it, and then bring your head to the wall, upper back to the wall, and then slowly lower. You can also go back and forth if that's something that works for you. And then the second exercise, so you can do about like however many, I think about 4 to 6 of those would be good. And then the second exercise, depending on your comfort away from the wall, if you're not comfortable being away from the wall, then you would just work on the first one. This one, you'll take your hands, so you can actually sit against the wall, take your feet out in front of you, and then place your hands where your ankles are. Walk your feet back up onto the wall. And then we'll work on these windmill legs. So taking this big out and around and up and out and around and up. And you can do 3 to 5 on each side, maybe trying to tap your wrist. And switching sides. Out and around. And up. Out and around. Shoo. And then, so we'll come down from there. And then you can choose a handstand of your choice, handstand, headstand, or even just a plank, and we'll hold for 1 minute. So, taking a minute to find your handstand or headstand, setting a 1 minute timer, and can choose where you are on the wall, and beginning now. Coming out of that. And we did it. So you can just make your way back onto your mat now for a little cool down. Great job. And we'll just roll ourselves all the way back onto our backs. Woo. Taking a big breath into your belly. Checking back in with that word. And then slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time from your pelvis through your lower back, all the way up through the chest. Inhaling, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhaling, interlace your hands underneath your lower back and stretch through the shoulders. Pull them back and down. Breathe here, lift your hips up a little bit higher. Then we're going to lower our hips over to the left. So I'm going to actually move my hips to the left, and I'm going to lower my hips onto my left arm. So I'm squishing my left forearm. This is my favorite thing. And then you can like open and close your left hand. You can release the grip and just squish your forearm. You can also move through your neck if it feels right. But basically, I'm just sitting on my left forearm. You can walk your butt, and sometimes if you find the right place where your sacrum's on your forearm, you can kind of like swivel the hips from side to side and just release any tight muscles there. And next exhale, we'll lift all the way up nice and slow. Interlacing the hands once again, and then walking the forearms over to the left and slowly lowering all the way down. Giving yourself a nice squish of the right forearm now. You can move it around and find the best place to release the tension. If it feels good to rock your hips from side to side. And then inhale, lifting the hips all the way back up once again. Lifting them up as high as you can. And then slowly lowering them all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Inhaling the knees into the chest, giving yourself a hug, saying something really sweet to your body. Thanking it for showing up for you today. And then taking the knees as we, over to the right, as we come to lay onto the right, like we're in the fetal position on the right, I'll take my left hand and I'm going to make a circle above my head, so I'll take my fingers to drag along the floor and I'll circle back open into a twist. You can make it dynamic, maybe take 5 of these, just painting a rainbow around your body. As you open up into the chest. And then you can take the left leg into the left hand and you can stretch, like take your head onto your right arm and then you can just stretch back here, taking a little chest opener, heart opener, opening into the inner thighs. And then leaning back, so keeping this left knee bent, we'll lean back onto it and just roll into this internally rotated position because we've been doing so much externally rotated. Just start to lean back and see if you can drop your hip, and if so, how much. See if you can pull your belly button in towards your spine and really just work those internal rotators of the hip. Just as much as feels right for you. You don't have to go all the way down. Here is a great place to be. As long as you don't feel it in your knee, then you're doing it right. So you shouldn't feel pain in the knee. No pain in the ankle. Just an opening on the front of the hip is what we're looking for. On your exhale, slowly rolling back onto your right. And then taking both knees through the center as you bring them over to the left, so that we're in the fetal position on the left side. Taking your right arm around and then painting that rainbow in the sky, opening up through the thoracic spine. Big circles for 5, 4, 3, see if you can find your breath. And 2. And 1. Breathing here into your twist. And then you can take your right leg, your right foot into your right hand with your right palm facing up, and then just start to stretch into that psoas as you bring your left ear onto your left arm. And then leaning back just as much as you can into this internal rotation, making sure you don't feel any pain in your knee, and just starting to work that hip down, breathing into the front of the body. Slowly rolling back onto the left side, and then rolling all the way back onto your back. Take your right foot up as if you were stamping your heel on the ceiling, and then cross your right ankle over your left knee, grab through, and then pull in towards your body, finding this figure 4 stretch. Keep your right foot really nice and flexed back towards your shin. See if you can bring the breath all the way down to the hip. Imagining you had a straw that ran all the way from your nostrils all the way directly into that hip. And you can just inflate your hip with breath to soften any tight muscle tissue. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. If you want more, you can start to cradle the baby by taking your right foot into your left elbow crease. And you can cradle your shin, finding a little bit more depth here. And we can play with, you can stay here, you can add on your supine flying pigeon. So you can take the left leg up towards the sky and then start to drop it down really nice and slowly. And I like to make this dynamic to just start to work into my hip. Find your depth of the hip stretch that you want to have right now. And then find a place to just soften and breathe wherever you are. Inhale, slowly releasing from wherever you are. Taking both feet up as if you were stamping your heels on the ceiling. And then the left ankle is going to cross on top of the right knee, grabbing underneath, reaching through, finding that figure four stretch on the left side. Firing up this left foot to protect your knee. Breathing here into your outer hip. And if you want more, you can take this left foot into your right elbow, gripping on, cradling the baby, your little left hip baby. And then the right foot can reach up towards the ceiling and you can play with your supine flying pigeon. Really working this active range of motion, seeing how engaged you can stay. And then finding a place to hold and breathe. Releasing from wherever you are. And then just asking your body if it needs any other poses, just taking your time to take anything else your body is asking you for before we drift off into our favorite pose ever. Any little spots that your body still needs to open. And then finding our way into Shavasana. So bring the pads of your feet together and let the knees flop out. And then bringing the hands to make a diamond shape above your head and placing the backs of the hands onto the floor. Push through the feet, lift the hips so that the lower back is really nice and long on the mat. And then you can push through the top of the head and lift the upper back, draw the shoulders down so that your upper back is really nice and long on the mat. Taking a breath to just feel that midline of the body once again. That central channel. Finding that deep breath trickling along that channel. And just beginning to allow everything to now spread away from the midline. So we did so much midline activation. Just allow yourself to soften away from the midline. As if you were spreading out in two different directions. The two sides of the rib cage moving away from one another. The two hips moving away from one another. And then taking the biggest breath you've taken ever in your life up to this point. See how much you can inhale. When you get into the top, take in a little bit more. And then take in a little bit more. And then even a tiny bit more. Until you feel like you're almost floating because you're so full with breath. And then as you exhale, just let the feet spread out and the arms spread down and find your Shavasana. Letting the toes begin to relax as you send a soft breath down into your toes. Breathing the breath all the way down into the arches of the feet and into the heels. Finding the breath in the legs. Seeing if you can melt the muscles of the legs with your breath. Combing the breath down through the muscle fibers of the hips. Breathing into the lower belly and seeing how much space you can find in the lower back using that breath. Inflating the breath into the belly as you soften the internal organs, seeing if you can just massage them with your breath. Working your way up into the muscle fibers of the ribs. Bringing your mind's eye into the spaces between the rib bones, into that soft tissue, and using that awareness to just soften that muscle tissue. Unlock any tight spaces in the rib cage as you allow your chest to expand and the collarbones to move away from one another. Finding your breath into your heart. Breathing all the way into the very center of your beating heart. And see if you can become so quiet that you can pick up on other heartbeats in the space around you. Finding that connection to all of the other hearts that beat in the entire world. That love that unites us all. And breathing that down into your arm bones. All the way into the very center of your palm as you let your fingers curl in, just letting go of any grasping, just letting yourself soften, surrender, and be held. Breathing a breath into your neck, into your jaw, Finding the back of your neck long and the muscles of the face soft. Softening the lips and the jaw, the tongue and the cheeks. Breathing a breath into your eyes, letting your eyes soften, letting the space between your eyes soften, your forehead, your temples. Breathing a breath to wrap around your entire scalp. Seeing if you can feel each hair follicle as you soften the skull a little bit heavier into the mat. And then descending the breath all the way through the skull and into the very center of your brain. Softening that big muscle. Seeing if you can comb through all of the muscle fibers of your brain. Intentionally softening each pathway. Maybe noticing any new pathways that were formed throughout this practice. Any new connection points. And then just melting yourself all the way into the very center of your mind. Finding that alignment with that value once again. And just noticing one moment throughout your practice which you really embodied that value. Which you really moved with integrity. And imagining what our lives would be like if we always moved from integrity. Breathing that little seed to plant all the way into the very center of you so that it can grow as you take action in the future. And then just allow yourself to completely relax. Integrating all of the benefits of this beautiful practice. Softly starting to come back. Starting to feel your breath as it comes back into your body. Finding an expansive breath. Breathing all the way from the toes up into the crown of the head. Wiggling through the fingers and the toes and circling through the wrists and the ankles. Ooh. Coming back into your body. You can run your thumb along each of your fingers to just feel those nerve endings. As you take a few stretches as if you were just waking up in the morning. And then giving yourself a really big hug, a really sweet thank you for all that your body did for you today. And then making our way up to our seat. However you wish to get up into your seat, keeping your eyes closed for just a minute longer. Finding this alignment once again, finding our sitting bones on the ground, and then finding our spine really nice and long. Rolling the shoulders back and down to the back pockets. Inhaling, reaching our hands up above us. Finding that alignment and that connection with something greater than ourselves, with each other, with nature. And then drawing that energy all the way down through the mind and all the way into the center of the heart. Feeling connected and aligned and sharing the sound of connection, one Om together to close our practice. Taking a deep inhale. Bowing to each other for showing up, for getting in our bodies, and for doing something for the beautiful people of Nicaragua. All that is good in me bows to all that is good in you. Namaste.